Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. Today I'm going to be covering the new Tier 10 German light cruiser, the Bremen. I've already covered it for a review that came out around, I think, last week, mid of last week. But for this game, I have a really wonderful replay to show you that I actually covered. Well, I actually played on stream a few days ago, but I'm sure most of you missed it, so I hope you enjoyed this wonderful damage game. Huge damage, which actually came to my surprise because the match, as you can see, is mostly filled with some destroyers, a submarine, 4 cruisers, and only 3 battleships to farm. However, one of them is a Valparaiso, and more importantly, it is arms race. So in terms of damage output, we do have that arms race buff that's going to help us out. For the ship build, for this video, I am running this build, which is the same build as my review. However, I think you can also run the spotter plane mod, which I haven't actually done so as of yet, but I think I'm going to include that in my build in the future, so make sure, maybe consider it for the Bremen. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, guys, I would greatly appreciate a sub to the channel, because I know a lot of you have been subscribing recently, but I would greatly appreciate, for those of you who have not, I'd greatly appreciate a subscription to the channel, as it will help me out greatly. But in the game here, as you can see, what is the Bremen? Now, I've already covered it in quite a lot of detail last week, but in a short summary, it is a mines at tier 10, so it's a German light cruiser at tier 10. Similar also in terms of playstyle to the Hindenburg, which is also, of course, a tier 10. However, as you can see from the reload on this one is pretty incredible, especially when we have that arms race buff mixed into it, because it's going to give us another 8% or 10% buff, plus our already top grade gunner activated 8%. And remember, I'm running Legions, which means if I get 140 shell hits, which I'll definitely be getting this game, if we get 140 shell hits, we are also going to get a little buff from him, around 8% as well. So all of these reload buffs stacked along are going to be helping us out quite a lot. Now in this match, whilst it is arms race and we are top tier, which should present a very easy match, it does end up being quite a close match in general. So I mean, those matches are the most interesting, right? Even though maybe they're a bit harder and they take a lot of time, maybe 20 minutes maximum, right? It's I would say they're more fun, especially when you're top tier. I would say when you're top tier in a Bremen, you should have a pretty easy time to play the match. Now in this case, you see me kind of playing a bit far away. Reason is there's a Manteuffel here. We have to be careful of him pushing up, and we have to actually be a bit cautious of his secondaries. But again, he's just bow in, so we're just able to unload some HE on him, and we're starting to unload pretty good damage on him. But however, as you see from my ship screen here, we already lost 2 teammates, unfortunately, in pretty quick minutes here, like 4 minutes, already 2 destroyers down. And having destroyers down is not that good, especially in arms race. Just mainly because we're not going to be getting as many buffs, because it is going to be harder to get those buffs without the destroyers, because their destroyers can just run around and get them, whilst we kind of have to be a bit more cautious. Luckily, we did trade out that Manteuffel, and our teammate traded out a Blitzkowitza, so it is 2-2 at this point, which is good. I'm going to be moving towards the middle of the map, because I believe my team can handle 1 Missouri on the other side. More importantly, though, there is a lot of damage on the other side. And when you're playing a ship like Bremen, the goal is to get as much damage as physically possible. Oh, also, check this out. Torpedoes coming in. Unfortunately, the Jaeger decided to torp me. Luckily, we had that Hydra running, so we do get a bit of spotting a bit early on. However, I do take all 3 of them, which is really bad. Luckily, the Jaeger torp, so they don't do much damage. And there you see that Legions reload buff from the Bremen here. That's going to put us down to 3.7 seconds reload with this arms race single reload buff. With top grade gunner, of course, if we get closer at 13.1, we should be able to get even faster reload. But we do need to get closer for that, which we aren't that close right now. We're kind of playing cautious. And you might be wondering why I'm playing so cautious in the back here. I'm worried about these Jaeger torps. And good thing I was, because he is randomly torping in my general direction. You would expect him to torp the Riga. However, he did torp in my general direction for a bit too long. And, well, we have to respect it at the end of the day, you know? It is what it is. And we have to angle to it and play a bit passively. And there they are. Those, well, I would say, expected torpedoes because we were pre-kited. And good thing we were, because if we weren't, we would have eaten 3 more. Even though we wouldn't have died, it would have hurt us quite a lot. And we do need that HP later on, especially potentially if we have to fight this Valparaiso later on, which, spoiler alert, we will have to actually fight it later on. It is we're gonna need our HP, because that thing takes forever to die. By the way, I did end up buying the Valparaiso with the steel, because I know a lot of you guys wanted to watch that one. So if you guys want to watch a Valparaiso game, I have a pretty incredible game I had in it. Arms race game as well, however, but still a very entertaining match to watch in that one. And I also got myself an Aki. So I actually got Valparaiso and Aki, which I can cover in future videos potentially. However, I'm not sure about Aki just yet. Valparaiso probably. Aki, not so sure yet. But anyway, 114k damage so far. We really didn't do much. We're kind of just chilling at the back of the map, trying to minimize damage intake from the Jaeger. You see me say this every video. It's fairly simple, guys. You need to position yourselves in the ship's strengths, right? Especially with these damage farming ships, like for example Hawaii or Bremen. Of course, you're going to position themselves very differently than each other. However, you're going to position yourself in a way where you can minimize the damage you take, but try to, of course, maximize the damage you do. And I mean, that's fairly simple, right? But again, for a Bremen, it's quite different than a Hawaii. A Hawaii, you can just sit on the rock and arc over them. With a Bremen, we need to sit in the open and we need to pre-kite. You can, of course, sit behind rocks. However, if you're just going to sit behind a rock, you might not be able to just spot in the open potentially for your team. In this case, are we the ones spotting? No, our teammates are spotting for us, but sometimes you need to be the one, maybe not spotting, but however, like, you need to be kind of just doing all the damage. And if things are going dark in front of your face, if you're behind a rock, you're not going to be dishing out as much damage as possible. So we want to kind of sit in the open, as you can see, and try farm these battleships as much as possible. Now, we are losing the match quite significantly, and you might be wondering why I'm not kited towards B, or sorry, towards the cap. In this case, I mean, I kind of just like was pre-kited this way, and I kind of kept walking this way. I wasn't really thinking about it. I kind of got excited because there's 2 ships pushing into me, which should be free damage. And, you know, when there's free damage, I always get excited because, well, that's kind of what we want, especially in a damage farming ship, specifically like Bremen. These are damage farming ships, right? I slowed down here really randomly, to be honest, and I'm really lucky I did, because a full set of Shimakaze torpedoes just came in. If I was full speed, I literally get dev struck and die. However, I slowed down just perfectly to dodge all the torps, and the Shimakaze ended up running straight into my Hydra range, which means we ended up killing a destroyer for free. There's a lot of things happening for free this game, namely the Shimakaze dying here, and, well, these battleships pushing into me, providing free damage. And you'll see my damage number here, 200k already in 9 minutes, 220k. This is with arms race, triple damage buff and reload buff so far, so damage is very easy to get. But this ship, even without arms race, as you saw from my YouTube review, this ship can do extreme damage even without arms race. But even though this is an arms race, I'm still happy to feature the game because, again, I don't get 400k often, guys, and that's a big spoiler. However, this was a pretty big game, and it's not my highest damage game on my account. My highest damage game goes to the Hindenburg itself, funnily enough, with 441,000 damage. I believe this is my second highest damage game, however. My third highest damage would also be Hindenburg, by the way, also over 400. And those are my only 3 400k games. This is going to be one of them. And, well, back then, Valparaiso didn't exist. In this case, nowadays, we have Valparaiso, which means we're able to just get super damage on these ships. And look how quickly we racked up from 200 to 300k damage. It took us 1 minute and maybe even 2 minutes. Let's say 2 minutes, just to be very reasonable. But 2 minutes to go from 200k to 300k here. Pretty massive indeed. Now, at this point, I'm getting a bit concerned because I'm running a bit out of map and I turned kind of the wrong way on the kite. Realistically, the best kiting maneuver would have been kited towards the other direction and moving towards B. However, I think it just ended up being in our favor a bit here. And he does heal. He does heal, giving us 20,000 more damage for free. This is like perfect. Valparaiso against Bremen is just free farm, realistically. Again, in under a minute here, we've gone up another 50,000 damage just from this Valparaiso alone. So at this point, we're up to 362,000 damage, which is pretty high. Already an incredible match. However, there is still a Yoshino, a Jaeger, and an Osborne left. We're going to be turning around now for them, but it's going to take a while for us to reach there because Bremen does go pretty slow. A few of our teammates did die, unfortunately, there, but we are trying to charge at the enemy team. I'm sorry I skipped that part. It was literally just me sailing. Nothing was spotted. But in this case, and nothing was in range at the time. But now things are in range, so we're trying to get close to try to output a bit more damage. I'm seriously not looking for 400k just yet. I know we're at 362,000 damage. However, I mean, it's not guaranteed, right? So we're trying to win the game. I'm trying to get shots on these DDs. That's the goal. In terms of spotting, we shouldn't have any issues. Jaeger does not have smoke. We have a Halford on our team, which means we have aircraft spotting, which is, I mean, cringe and awesome at the same time. I'm trying here to finish off this Osborne. Boom, we get a kill there. That's our 4th kill of the game. And now we're trying to push up to just finish this Yoshino. In terms of our gun reload right now, around 3.2 seconds. Pretty good. Especially since we do have that 38 millimeters of gun penetration with these low caliber guns. The damage output, again, incredible. Now, I know this is arms race, guys. So, realistically, it is going to be easier, significantly easier to get damage, especially since we have a 30% damage buff right now from our main gun shells. And we also have 10% reload buff from our for our main guns as well. However, as I said, even in non-arms race games, this ship can do immensely well. And I've been enjoying playing this ship quite a lot. I enjoyed playing Mines when it came out. I've enjoyed Hindenburg, you know, ever since it came out. Maybe a bit after, because I didn't get it exactly when it came out. However, this one, again, this one's just been incredible. It's a ship. It's almost perfectly suited towards my playstyle, you know. I enjoy these German cruisers a lot, as you know. Hindenburg is my most played ship. Hindenburg also holds my damage records. In general, so, and now this one holds up there very close to the damage record, which is very nice. Even if it's arms race, I'm pretty happy with the result regardless, and I'm sure everyone, even if it's arms race, you guys would be happy with the results regardless, especially since we were losing this game by quite a lot. Well, not a lot, but we were kind of losing. We completely recovered the match thanks to our teammates, not really just myself, but look how much damage we're just able to output at this speed with these buffs. I mean, Bremen is pretty crazy. And that's pretty much the match. Let's see if we can secure a Kraken here, potentially. And we do. For personal score in the Bremen, we ended up doing 433,233 damage, 5 kills, 1 assisted in destruction, 6 incapacitations, 18 fires, 1 spotted ribbon, 1,062 shell hits, 9 secondary hits, and 1 defended ribbon. This was an E match, of course, but sadly we can't show it because it was a replay. Witherer, Arsonist, Confederate, Dreadnought, Kraken, and High Caliber there. By the way, I think yesterday I was playing a Hawaii game. This is completely has nothing to do with this game, but I was playing a Hawaii game and I got an Arsonist on a GK. I think in 3 minutes or 4 minutes. It was the fastest Arsonist I think I've ever gotten, at least so far. It was incredible. However, that game I'm not going to be featuring. For team score, we got 3.5k base XP. Massive base XP here in the arms race match. We were top tier, of course, which made it very easy to play this match. This was an easy match. Not to say this replay didn't get featured because it's some hard match to play. More like just because of the damage number. Personally, you know, I rarely get 400k. It's the 3rd time on my account, so I'm happy to feature it for you guys regardless. And it was a pretty incredible match, probably just to watch in general with the power of the ship in arms race. As you can see on the Valparaiso, though, 174,000 damage on just him, 101,000 damage on the Pommern B, 67,000 on the Yoshino, 12k on the Shima, who just got spotted randomly, by the way. I'm surprised he got spotted there. 2k on the Osborne, 30k almost on the Siegfried, 20k on the Missouri, 19k on the Manteuffel, and 3.8k on the Jaeger. Most of our damage came from HE, 313k. 36k from AP, and 80,000 from fires, and 93,000 damage received there. And this is credits and XP screen, so feel free to pause the video and take a look at it. For my commander build for the Bremen, we've got Gunther Lugens, Grease the Gears, Gunfeeder, Eye in the Sky, Adrenaline Rush, Superintendent, Survivability Expert, Concealment Expert, and Top Grade Gunner. We've got, for equipment, we've got Main Battery Mod 3, Concealment System Mod 1, Prop Mod 1, Aiming System Mod 1, Hydra Search Mod 1, and actually I have Main Armaments Mod 1, but I do believe I should probably just run the actual Spotter Aircraft Mod 1 if we do want longer duration spotter plane. So I'm going to swap that right now, actually. But that's pretty much it for the Bremen game. Pretty incredible performance from the ship. If we were to take a look at the statistics, I don't know if they're going to load up. So my highest damage game in Bremen, well, actually on my account, I mean, is in Hindenburg. As I said, 441,000 there in the Hindenburg. If we were to scroll down and find the actual Bremen, I don't know if we're going to be able to find that one. It does take me quite a while to find these ships because, oh, there it is. Didn't take me that long. 19 games played so far in the Bremen, 68% win rate with a 214,000 average damage. I expect the win rate to normalize around, for me, maybe around 65% maybe over time. And damage to ships probably, I mean, it will get reduced probably a lot. But so far, so good. 214k average. 433,000 is the highest game. A wonderful experience so far with the Bremen. As you know, I do love these German cruisers. And this is just an experience in itself. So I'm really happy with the ship. Definitely a consistent damage farmer, as I said in my review. However, you know, great experience. But I'm not sure which one you should pick between Hawaii and Bremen, just because they're very different from each other and it really depends on your playstyle, okay? But again, that's it for the Bremen. If you want to watch the full review, link in the description of the video. And if you want to watch more gameplay, I will be covering it on Twitch. Link in the description. Make sure to follow. It's free. If you do enjoy the content, however, if you want to watch another video, do recommend me a ship to play in the comments below. And make sure to sub to my channel so you'll get notified or whatever. You'll see it in your subscription page. It's free to sub, guys. And I would greatly appreciate it a lot. And I know a lot of you have been enjoying the content. But if you have and you're not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate a sub, maybe even a like, or even a share to the video. But that's pretty much it for this Bremen highlight. Well, not highlight, more like commentary. 433,000 damage game that I had yesterday. Or at this point when the video gets posted, probably 2 days ago. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Big fan.